supposing someone's lost a job or someone's lost a loved one, change in circumstances, it's not easy. I mean, the natural response is to go in a panic state, give up. It sounds like accepting means you need to stop, pause, process your feelings. But let's face it, we live in a society where, if anything happens, the phrase that's casually thrown around, move on, shake it off. We are not allowed, we're not permitted to process our emotions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what's a good place to start?
Eva, very often we always get stuck in a space of I'm going to try to accept this and not wanting to accept it. And we're constantly going in this ping pong effect between the two. Like, if you have a debate in your mind, for example, it will be like, I hate that this happened, but I must get over it, but I can't get over it, but I know I should. It's this constant ping pong effect that we continuously stay stuck in. Like, I want to, but I don't want to. I want to, but I'm not sure I can. So it comes back to being that choice. It comes back to understanding that my acceptance of what it is right now is the only way that I can move forward from where I am right now. Because without this acceptance, which is the biggest step, it is like when you equalize a formula. You have to have the equals to sign, right? Without that equals to sign, the other part is not going to make sense. It's this plus this equals this. So acceptance plus choice will equal to you moving forward, will be equal to you processing what has happened. So yes, in the society that we are in, and very often, it is like, it's very loosely passed around, accept what it is. You can't do anything about it, accept what it is. But even in that acceptance, there's a way of saying it. I can say it with the tone of just accept what it is. You don't have a choice. Or I can tell you, Eva, have the openness to accept what it is, and you will have a choice once you have that acceptance. So there's a difference in how I'm saying it, right? There's a difference in the meaning of what has come across and what I've said. There's a difference in the perception, interpretation. The second statement has hope. The second statement makes me feel like, okay, you know what? Maybe I could do this if I wanted to do this. If I tried to do this, I can do this. But the first one is it's a statement of resignation. It's a statement of me just saying, okay, I have to do what I have to do, but how do I do it? And I'm lost. And again, I'm stuck in that whole ping pong effect. I'm stuck in the whole, the whole ping pong effect. So just to know and to understand that when I've accepted my situation, it's easier. I'm opening up more pathways for me to move forward from that, to move forward from this present situation or then what has become my past. Because more often than not, we are also stuck in acceptance of something of the past. And we judge ourselves based on that inacceptance of the past, unacceptance of the past, where, somebody could have said something to me, where I lost a job, where my spouse or my boyfriend or my girlfriend left me, and it comes down to me feeling that I'm not good enough about something, and therefore that happened. My inability to accept that, because I'm like, how could that have happened? I gave my best to the job, I gave my best to the to my spouse, and he suddenly chosen to say pass away. So there is so much conflicting emotion that goes on in us in that time period, where along with the lack of acceptance is also the judgment, the self-judgment that comes about, that I wasn't good enough, I could have done this differently, I don't know why this happened to me, nothing in my life is working out. All these negative core beliefs start to pop up when we have something, when we're not able to accept something. So it's really about processing that and knowing that this is life. The only thing in life is uncertainty, because we don't know, we can't control everything. And to accept that in itself is very difficult for us. To accept that is something that we always turn away from, because I don't want to accept that there is uncertainty in life. I don't want to. But look at our situation right now. We are all homebound. We've all been homebound for a certain period of time, wherever we live in the world. We came to accept it, isn't it? Our first was denial. No, that the COVID will never ever come to me. It can't affect us, can't affect my country, can't affect my city, can't affect where I'm living. And then you have, maybe you have a case pop up in your building, or it's acceptance and adaptability that goes on. And you see how each of us have adapted to the current situation. So the human form is very capable of adapting, and we need to remind ourselves of that at the time when we feel that we're not able to accept, because we feel that there is no other way out, there is no solution, there is no hope. But to know that we are so intelligent that we work out of that as well, and we have the ability to do that as well. But the first step to even being able to see that, to even recognize that I have that, is acceptance. So I hope that answers your question to some extent.
Yes, it does. It is absolutely insightful and really, really, gives a lot of hope higher, especially, if someone was watching this and they're going through a difficult time. I think, this is a good tool for them to, to get started and move in the right direction. How do I not feel hopeless? What can I do? How can I not feel helpless?
So even hopelessness and helplessness are also part of the process. And it's okay to feel that. You don't need to feel pressurized to not feel that, because that is a very natural part of the process. It becomes an obstacle or it becomes a challenge when I'm only living in that helplessness and hopelessness. But it is a very important part to have and to feel that hopelessness and helplessness, because I'm not pressurizing myself, then I'm allowing myself to process what I'm feeling in that moment. And it's not that as soon as something has happened in my environment that I have to accept exactly what has happened right here, right now. That isn't what acceptance is. Acceptance is reaching a stage where I'm understanding that this is the reality. I may not necessarily like it, but in this moment, for it is what it is. There's an isness in it. That it is what it is, and I need to accept this to allow myself to find the resources, to find a new way, to find opportunities to open up something else for me. But if I don't look at it that way and I continue to look at it as helplessness and hopelessness, then I'm allowing, that is where passivity comes in, that is where weakness steps in. But otherwise, those two emotions are very important. Whatever is coming up is very important in that first moment of not being able to accept. It's okay. It's okay to initially not accept. It's okay to be stuck in that moment. It's whatever works for you in that moment.
I mean, I'm not asking to define a period, but sometimes, you know what I mean, you just don't want to be there and wallow, right?
Yeah.
How long do we allow that to happen? How do I know that I'm ready to move forward into the next step?
So Eva, only you can decide that. There is no time frame for something like this, because the intensity of emotion, the intensity of experience, the intensity of where we are at is so individual based on our own unique circumstances, our own unique way and ability of dealing with something. Like I said, strong people may just feel that this, I don't want to address this at all and just go and do 500 different things and feel that they've addressed it, but they haven't. They've addressed it in the way that they have chosen to address it. So there is no time frame for something like this. But yes, if I am recognizing for myself, or when others are telling me that it's time for me to get my act together to move on, I have to realize at that time that this is about opening up another pathway for me to accepting and letting go of what is the past. Because when I'm able to do that, then I'm able to focus my energy on what I can control. When I am able to focus my energy on what I can control, then that is empowering. So I am not right now, if I've accepted the situation, then you're saying there's a time period in where I'm still in that state. It is about it's not even so much now about the acceptance of the situation. It's more about the acceptance of my feelings towards that situation, because that situation has come and gone. Now what am I feeling? I'm feeling the emotion, the feeling of where I am at. And who has control over their feelings? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's up to me. It's a choice. That's why I said earlier, it's a choice that I have to make when I am ready to make it. And recognizing if I'm still not ready to make it after a certain period of time, then I need to address what it is. Why is it that I'm not being able to accept it? Is it about self-doubt? Is it about fear? It is about self-judgment. There's such a gamut of things that can come up because of that. But there are, you can use that skillful approach with yourself to really reflect on what it is I need to do now, because we have to move forward. To get stuck in a moment is to get stuck in life. To get stuck in
Right.
the past means to not live your true future and your present, because I'm constantly living in what could have been, what should have been, why, why was it not this way? But it isn't that way. And that is the harsh reality of something that I need to see. So I have to see, like, what is it that I can do to get my needs met now? Now that that situation, that person, that whatever it is external has not worked out for whatever reason, or is not there any longer for whatever reason, now I have to embrace the present moment fully. Because it's only when I can embrace this present moment fully will I be able to find some path, some answer, some step towards where it is I need to go next. Some, like, it's literally like you shining a torch and shining a lantern on a dark path. But when you shine that light, there is going to be a few steps that you can see that you can take forward, right?
Love it.
There is something that you will be able to move forward on. There will be some path that you need to take the steps towards, however short it is, however small it is, but it is something. And that comes with the acceptance of, yes, this is a path in front of me, and I can just take the first few steps. It is doable. It's not impossible. It is doable. So we can never be prepared for the biggest loss in our lives. We can't. There's not any preparedness enough in the world to prepare us for something that just comes and takes everything that we've known, or that we're comfortable with, or that we've loved, or that we've given our heart and soul to. It can be taken away. And that is the unpredictability of life. And that is something that we have to live with. The acceptance of just the unpredictability of life is something that we have to live with. That is something we have to accept. That in itself is something we have to accept. And that's hard to do. But it's not something we cannot do, because we've done it in the past. We've done it so many times in the past where we've had to accept situations and move forward from there. But
Right.
that isn't a reflection or a judgment of me. It isn't a reflection or a somewhere where I lacked, or somewhere where I wasn't good enough, or I didn't do enough. We feel that sometimes, right? When we lose a job, or when we lose somebody important to us in our lives, like, where did I go wrong? What did I not do good enough?
Right.
But if I look at that moment as it is what it is, and this is life, it's not got to do with my lack of anything. It is a circumstance, it is an outcome, but it's not a reflection of me. And in that, if you do that, the acceptance of you becomes so much more, because I'm accepting that isn't, this reality isn't my truth. It isn't me. It isn't who I am. It's not a reflection of who I am. I don't lack. We don't come from lack. We never come from lack. It's something that we feel all the time within us. But we are actually absolutely whole and complete and abundant. And if I'm drawing from that in that moment of not being able to accept something, to remind myself that I have the intelligence and I have the ability to light that path in front of me, and to take those first few steps, and knowing that as after the dark, there's always the dawn, right? That's like that is like a given. So to know that the dawn is coming, to know that I will be able to, and this is somebody, a very famous, from Nichiren Buddhism, Daisaku Ikeda, who says this. I'm not quoting the exact quote, but that's what he says: after the darkness comes the dawn. And it is a fact, because there will be a dark periods in our lives, and that is about life, and we all have that. But the dawn does come, that light does shine, and I have to accept that moment for what it is, to know that yes, the next moment there will be dawn, there will be break, there will be something for me to enable myself to just feel that hope again, to feel that acceptance, to feel that I can go on, I will go on. And sometimes time is something that really works for us. And you say time heals all, but the important thing is, what have I done with that time?
Fine. Correct. Yeah.
Because if I'm just saying time heals all and I'm leaving it to time to do, not much can change. What have I done in that time period to allow myself to, put my attention where I wanted to do what I wanted to grow from whatever I've learned that happened? That when I do those things with time, then time heals. Then time heals the wounds. But by not doing anything, I would still remain in that ping pong effect of, should I be doing it? I don't know if I want to do it. I think I should do it. but I don't think I can accept this. By accepting this means I've given the other person the freedom. There's so many things